What do you do when you notice an abnormality? In movies, in Hollywood movies, by the way, Hollywood movies tend to be a bad example to teach you stuff. Let me say that. First of all, movies do reveal truth onto you, but Hollywood movies tend to condition people in how to respond. They're like teachers because they influence how you think without you being aware of it. And in Hollywood movies, not only Hollywood movies, in many mainstream movies, you see that when one of the characters sees an abnormality, he or she speaks out about it, or they react to it immediately. You see this in horror movies. For example, someone sees a weird figure and they tell others, look at weird figure. And then others say, what a weird figure. And they look and they see nothing. And then it appears as if the one that noticed it is out of their mind. Or someone sees something and immediately go after it, but others don't notice it. So now you're still being looked at as the crazy one. Or you can get in trouble. Look, those are movies, okay? Now I'm going to talk about real life out there. There are abnormalities that happen out there. There are. But here's the thing that you need to consider. Most people, they operate in a routine. They wake up, brush their teeth, shower, put their clothes on, and if they're females, put makeup on often. Then they go out, go to their job. At a job, they have their lunchtime, they talk with colleagues. After the job, they come back home. If they are married, they have some sex with their partner probably. Or if they have kids, they need to have spend some time with the kids. Or if they're a college student, they need to study. So people have a routine. And here's the thing with routine. When you are in a routine, you become blind to the routine. The routine begins to feel like natural onto you. And that is a trap. Look, I'm not saying a routine is wrong, but when you're stuck at a routine, listen, when you become stuck at a routine, you're not aware you've become stuck. And that's a trap because now you have become blind to that you are in a routine. And once you're in a routine, the thing, when you're stuck in a routine, what you will expect is the routine. That's what you're looking forward to. And because your mind is so adapted and so acclimatized to the routine, you often don't notice other things that are happening. So you are distracted. Consider this. Can it be that the society around you is acclimatized to abnormal things that you don't notice it when something abnormal happens? I mean, okay. Let's give an illustration here. Just an illustration. You have this guy who, let's call him Joey. Joey lives with his girlfriend in an apartment. They're cohabiting. They're planning to marry soon, but they wanted to have a house just in case. And they don't have a house, but they live in an apartment complex. And every morning around 7 a.m. till around 9 a.m., he often hears a woman walking on high heels. And he hears it outside because in front of his front door there is this thing like a hall that leads to other houses. So he thinks probably those are just women that go to their jobs in the morning during rush hour. He's often asleep then. And then one day he talks to his girlfriend, Lindsay, and he asks Lindsay, a lot of women wear high heels around here, don't they? And Lindsay asks him, why are you saying that, Joey? And Joey talks about the high heels he hears on the gallery each morning. And then Lindsay said to him, Joey, I don't hear anything. Then Joey decided, you know what? We are going to stay up from 5 in the morning till 9 in the morning. So they did it once, and indeed they heard women walking around on high heels. But one day Joey was studying the bells of, because below in the apartment complex on ground zero when you would arrive, there are numbers you have to call for people to open the door so that you later can reach their house where they can open directly for you. So when he studied the names over there, he noticed that there are only elderly people living over there. And most of those elderly people are males, because their wives often died years ago. There were only about 4 elderly women living there, and they were the only young couple over there. So then Joey thought, that's quite weird. Then who's walking around on high heels? So this was an abnormality, an obvious one. But Lindsay said to Joey, forget about it, we're about to get married, and we are only here for a while, for about a year or two, and then before we get our real house. So don't bother with it. So Joey thought, okay, I'm not going to bother with it. Then one day, the high heels stopped. So Joey thought, okay, the high heels stopped. That's fine. Why should I care? They got married, had a great wedding. But after they got married, he began to hear the high heels in the roof. So he was thinking that probably the man that lives above him, the neighbor above him, probably had a prostitute or a girlfriend coming by. So one day, during the night, when he heard those high heels and heard a lot of cracks coming from the roof, he became upset and he went to the neighbor above, knocked on the door, but he realized that the house was vacant. There was nobody there. So the next day he asked his neighbors when the neighbor above him left, and they told him, Joey, that man passed away around 4 weeks ago. It was just a week before you two got married. Then Joey thought, what? But Joey didn't tell them about the high heels and all of that. Joey thought, okay, this is weird. Joey ignored it. Soon after that, he and his wife got a big house and a good mortgage, so they moved. So Joey was still asking about those high heels. What did he really hear? But then there was another thing that Joey began to realize, that many of the houses at that apartment complex, they had names of elderly people on it, but they were vacant. So the numbers at the gallery downstairs were deceptive. So one day he returned because he forgot to hand in the key of the basement. So the real estate agent told him to come and hand in the key of the basement. So he came to hand over the key. And then the real estate agent was happy to see him. And then he told the real estate agent about the high heels. And then the real estate agent told him, Joey, I want this to remain between us. I want this to remain confidential. And then Joey asked, what's going on? The real estate agent told him, Joey, my father used to work here when he was young. He was working for the same real estate agent I was working for. During the time he was young, several people went missing from this apartment complex. They just disappeared one day. And there was this woman that often appeared around in the neighborhood. And many people began to ask who she was. Well, let me keep it briefly. It wasn't a real woman. And those people that went missing, well, their bodies were found later at the river or near the beach. So many people decided not to want to live here. But the real estate agent that I'm working for, well, It was easy for me to get a job over there because my dad used to work there also. They had to fake as if they had people renting houses, or else they would go out of business. So they rented the apartment. They had like 5 of them to a few people. You and your fiance were one of them, people they rented onto, and you had some co-workers of the real estate office that often came to those apartments to pretend as if people were really living there. The truth is, Joey, that this apartment complex is haunted. And those high heels you're hearing, that's a demon that's walking around. Because the place is so haunted, demons can easily manifest. And then Joey thought, what are you telling me? So you're renting me a haunted apartment? And then the real estate agent said, Joey, I really didn't want to rent you this apartment. I didn't. Look, I need this job that I have at this office. That's why I rent things to people. But often I make it hard for people to rent stuff over here. When you and your fiance came to rent here, did you remember how many hard questions I was asking you? Do you think I asked those hard questions for nothing? I was hinting to you covertly that something was wrong with the apartment. I even suggested you to look for other apartments. I was not allowed to speak about what was going on. I did not want to rent you guys this apartment. I may have appeared a bit cold and distant when you were signing the contract. I wasn't happy when you signed the contract because I knew what was going on. The other people that work at the real estate office, they don't care. They only care about getting their wage at the end of the month. So please, Joey, I thank you for bringing the key. Let it remain between us and never come back here again. And don't even tell people you ever lived over here, please. Because I don't want people to come over here and get into this mess. So Joey said, thank you, man. Then the real estate agent had him an envelope. And the real estate agent told him, open it when you're at your car. At the car, Joey opened it, and it was the rent. The rent he paid all those months. He got it all back, and a bonus. And there was a letter in which the real estate agent explained that it's finished and that Joey needs to move on. So, about this parable. When Joey and his fiancée came to rent that apartment, and the real estate agent was a bit distant, and he was a bit difficult in renting them a simple apartment, that should be a red flag already. But Joey and his fiancée, they were not spiritually alert. So the guy rented them the apartment. But Joey did notice the abnormality indeed. But there's the thing. Joey had an aunt and also one of his colleagues at the workplace that prayed for them. Those were 2 believers who were praying on behalf of Joey. And it's because those 2 people were praying on Joey's behalf, it's because of that Joey was not injured. Because a lot of the people indeed would rent apartments over there. They would leave quickly, but with scars, all kinds of weird marks on their body. Some of them were even injured and had to lay months in the hospital. There was holy angelic protection on Joey's behalf, due to the prayers that those 2 people made for Joey. And Joey was not aware that those 2 people were praying on his behalf. Now look, I don't know what abnormality you've noticed, but let me tell you, there are many abnormalities out there. And please don't go to YouTube or to some video website to look for haunted places or ghosts caught on camera, because most of those videos and tapes are fake, completely fake. And I'm not encouraging you to go and see spirits on tapes. Absolutely not. I'm not encouraging that. The reason I record it is for you to be alert that there are abnormalities out there. And listen, people will often not tell you what's going on because probably you will not believe it. Just like you look in movies, they reveal facts to you, but of course it's a movie. So of course it's sensation. Have you noticed even in movies, when there are people that mention the abnormality, most people don't believe it and think you're crazy or even become upset with the one informing them? And that's how it happens out there also. Often when you know an abnormality and you inform people about it plainly, they will either call a mental institution to pick you up, or they will spread rumors about you that you're crazy, or they will violently act out against you. And the last one also happens. So when you give hints to people that something is wrong, that something doesn't add up, and when you realize that they're not sensitive to your hints, then keep your mouth shut. Because those people are not capable of processing what you're about to tell them. And you don't want to risk them freaking out on you, and you don't want the situation to escalate, just keep your mouth shut, but at least you are aware. Just understand this. There are going to be times that you will notice things others don't. Why? Because you may be more alert than they are. Just as I mentioned before, a lot of people, they are acclimatized to their daily routine. And because of that, they've become blind to everything else that's going on. And it can be that in their daily routine itself, there are things happening around them that they don't even notice. And remember, intercessory prayer, just praying on someone else's behalf, works. Often you don't see how it works. In the parable I just gave unto you, if those two people were not praying on Joey's behalf, then he and his fiancée would have died. Not directly, but after he left the apartment, they would have all kinds of bodily dysfunctions, and they would die within 2 or 3 years. Because the demon would have his way with them. So remain in prayer, keep agreeing with Christ, pray on other people's behalf, keep your head cool, and be at peace.